I'm Shelley Butler.
I'm Yves Doucet.
Yes, you are.
Mhm.
The famous Yves Doucet. We had the police here this morning.
Searching for me or
Nope, but I talked about you. Did you hear me not? Did you hear me
no,
talking
I'm
about you?
busy doing
Oh,
things.
oh, important things.
No,
Yeah.
just things.
The
They're
pol-
not nothing is important. It's just things.
oh,
Yeah. So
so
why were the police here?
so when I get out of my car, I can see the police. Now we've had the police here before, quite a few times actually, because we have cameras on our building, a few different cameras, and we have a pretty nasty intersection that there's quite a bit of what would you call that, Eve?
Accidents.
Okay, quite a
Th-
bit of accidents
Well, there's a lot
there.
of movement there.
A
There's
lot
a lot
of
of accidents
there's
for
a lot
some
of
reason.
for some reason, yeah. So the
There's a lot of
comment,
traffic and a lot of like movement around, and
yeah,
so
yeah.
it always happens on that corner for some reason.
For some reason, yeah. So we've got a couple cameras that can certainly help community out, and we have done that. But they were actually here because they are community liaisons, and they are going around to businesses to introduce themselves. And of course, he wanted to know all the bad things. Now, of course, these guys, they're police officers, so they hear about all the complaints.
Yes. So somebody complaining about us or what?
No, but
Uh,
he was looking for me to complain, right? He was like, well, there's got to be something going on. There's nothing. You have no distresses. You have no. I said, no, absolutely not. And would you like to come on in? I'll give you a
hmm.
tour, right?
They didn't come in.
They did.
Oh, they did come in.
Yes, they
Oh,
did. They
okay.
came in. And of course, I was saying, oh, this is
Yeah.
our podcast room.
Yeah.
Actually, we're going to do a podcast this morning. That's why I'm here. And right away, they gave me a card.
Oh.
Luke, I'm going to reach out to him today, actually, because they thought he would love to come on to our podcast.
Oh.
Luke Picard, which I think, isn't that
So we're gonna
Star
have a police.
Wars?
We're gonna.
Luke Picard?
I don't know. So we're gonna have Luke Picard on our podcast. A police officer?
It
Why not? I love it.
is community
Yeah,
liaison,
I
and
love that.
and I explained how much you give back to community, right? How
Mhm.
how important community is for us.
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
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 because we live there.
because we live here.
So
Now, interesting enough, so when he came in and there was computers and Trent's over there, like lines of code, where so I said, oh yeah, we're an IT firm, right? But it's people helping people grow. It says Dovico,
yeah.
people helping people grow. So he said, oh, I didn't realize you were IT. I thought you were a group home.
Well,
Right?
maybe.
We Eve and I may be groupies
Just
in
that
this home
we're
soon enough,
building it for future.
right?
Yeah.
Right?
Mhm.
Yeah. So I thought that was lovely. I've never had police officers come just to say hello.
Oh, that's nice.
Oh, it's Jean-Luc Picard. See,
How do you know?
well, because Trent knows. Like when I heard Luc Picard, I
Oh,
was like, isn't that
okay.
the famous?
Okay.
Didn't he take
Jean-Luc
over?
Picard is
Jean-Luc Picard.
okay. Jean-Luc Picard.
Isn't he
I don't know.
Star Wars? Is that Star Wars or Star Trek? Oh, see,
Trent, I know.
Trent will know. Trent will fill us in. He's already over there going cringe. You people should know this. Okay. All right. So I thought it would be fun. I've done a whole lot of research. So as you guys know, Dovico sells time tracking solutions, billing and costing, one of the most famous billing costing solutions in the world, actually. We
Mhm.
sell into a ridiculous amount of countries, 80 different countries, and super proud of that. And so as I was doing some research, because 33 years ago isn't the same as how people track time today. And so I wanted to ask you, Mr. Doucet, why timesheets?
What do you mean? Why did I start with that?
Why
Oh, why did I
timesheets?
build that like 30 years ago? Is that the question?
It is. Well, you answer however you want. Why timesheets? You can answer it as why did I make it 33 years ago?
Why the name
Uh,
timesheets?
why? Well, well, or that, or you can answer it in a why we use that still to this day. We started with timesheet. You didn't start with timesheets 33 years ago, actually.
No.
You started with a tracking device. So back in the day, we had tracking device. So I guess what I'm curious about is in this day and age, maybe let's go there. In this day and age, why timesheets? Why does a company need timesheets? Why would a company even worry about timesheets?
Well, it didn't start off this way, but at the beginning, it started off as, in order to monitor project costing. So We were an engineering firm called Academy.
Mm-hmm.
So we had approximately 20 engineers
Yep.
of various disciplines, and we wanted to track the cost of each project in order to build our customers. And we were very mobile. We went to sites and stuff. That's 30 years ago. We went to sites, and there was nothing that existed. So we built this handheld device. People would log their time onto this device, and they would come back and then just plug it into a little, just leave it into a port
Mm-hmm.
like we have today, like a
Mm-hmm.
magnetic port, and the data would download directly to the computer, and then the admin would take that and make the invoice for the customer. That's how it started. Today, though, time is one facet of getting a project done, right? So where I am today, where we are today, Dover was different. So timesheet is one indication of whether or not the project is going to be on time. It's not the indicator, it's just an indicator, whether or not you have a healthy team, whether or not people talk to each other, whether or not people are actually delivering quality and innovative services are another measurement that we were looking at. Because timesheet is just one aspect of it, but it is still an important aspect. It's one thing we can measure. So people went there because it's easy to measure. And in this day and age, I find that people are going away from only making time the most important thing, right? So people are going towards the value that you bring instead of the time. So you use time to say, well, was my investment worth it, right? To as a measurement, how much per hour did I make? But really, you're looking at the value that you're delivering. Mm,
Absolutely. And
mm.
so, do you find it fascinating? So, way back in the day, you had a handheld device that you would track time on, engineers,
Yes.
group of
Yeah.
engineers. So, do you find it fascinating that we're back again tracking Dovico timesheet on a device? And what is our number one customer base?
Well, it's engineers.
And it's
Yeah.
engineers. So, we're
Uh,
back to where you began tracking time on a device,
yeah.
right? For the exact same thing.
Yeah.
33 years
We
later.
abandoned our device when they came up with the Palm Pilot.
Right.
So because it was like cheap, we couldn't manufacture like for the same cost. They had much more function. It was, and when he came up with the phone, we just added the app to the phone. So now when you are, let's say you're on a job site, it knows you're on a job site. It'll tell you this is the billing of the customer. It can do that and say, okay, we'll track your time for this customer. So now we've automated the entry of time so
Yeah.
that it's easier for the engineer or the employee to track time as an indicator of how much time they spent there.
I think it's fascinating, when we look back at it, because for years we were a desktop house, right?
Yes,
We were a Microsoft desktop house. That's what we did. We build under the Microsoft platform, and we only made features for the desktop.
we did, and now we make
And now
the device.
we're back to the
Yeah,
device,
it
right?
it comes and goes, right? Yeah,
It does. It does come and
yeah,
go.
yeah.
It's been a long time. So interesting enough, fun fact, if you don't track time, do you know there's what they call the 50% rule? So if you only go on and track your time at the end of the week, so you're an engineer, you're
Mm-hmm.
you're on all these, you're gone to all these sites,
Yeah,
most of them are in your calendar because I got to be here, there, and everywhere.
yeah.
You're not going to remember those things. It's in your calendar. But if you only go into your timesheet and track once a week, do you know that you could possibly be losing 50% of your billable time?
I didn't know that.
So
No.
there is research out there now that if you're only
Yeah.
going in once a week
Hmm.
to track your time, and our stats are showing that our clients only go in once a week to track their time.
Wow.
Yeah. You could be losing up to 50% of your billable time being staggered like that or trying to remember. Now, when you automate it, and this is something that we have done just recently in the last little bit, is your calendar now can be synced in to time tracking,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
So you can, if you have everything in your calendar, you can be it's an automated feature. You press a button and all your calendar goes right into your timesheet. So that billable time is way more accurate. But if you are taking phone calls in between, and we're talking between 5 and 10 minute calls, 10 and 15 minute calls for a client, for, and you don't track those times, your call times are not tracked.
Right.
We're talking between 15 and 20% of billable time
Wow.
that we're
That's a
missing.
lot.
It's a
Yeah.
lot.
Yes.
It's a lot when, especially with your, when you're talking to a client. You don't
Yes.
realize, right? I even referenced myself, Owen and I often pick up the phone and we're strategizing. But if my phone could automate that every time I talk to Owen, could automate that back to a project,
That'd be like easier.
that would
Yeah.
be absolutely
Hmm.
huge. Absolutely huge. Do you think that tracking time builds a habit? So you talk about habits a lot,
No,
Yves.
it builds, yes, it does build a habit.
You
But
think?
um, no,
Let's talk about it.
the habit is actually tracking time. So
Yeah.
why would you want to track time? So I believe, this is my belief, in order to become a master at a skill, also called dharma, and so we all have skills. We all have things that we
Yep.
love to do, right?
Yep.
To attain a level of, are you hot?
Yeah, yeah,
You're
yeah.
hot.
This conversation is
Hot.
hot.
Spill the tea. So in order to become from a novice to a master, it's like the number of repetition that you do something that you become really, really good at, right? So measuring time, measuring how fast you are at doing a task, it's an indication of whether or not you're getting better at that task. And
Mm,
as you get better at that task, right? It's not that you can charge more or do more tasks, it's that you can actually elevate and become um, in flow state in that task. And when you're in flow state of that task, you start doing things that you've never done before. You go beyond what you've done. So you have more impact, you have more innovation, you have creativity.
I
So
love that.
so the reason that's important to me that we track time or you track time is you say, well, an example of that, like you, doesn't matter if you're learning to dance or if you're learning whatever skill, or you're becoming a tradesman or an
Yeah, yeah.
engineer. So when you are getting better and better and better at doing something, you can handle, let's say a phone call comes in, it doesn't distract you from your way of being, right?
Right.
Right?
Right.
So it's not about like tracking time to build that I'm interested in for me
Okay.
right now. It's about tracking time in order to become a master. Because when you become a master, then you identify yourself as a separate delivery. Like you're not as everybody else. You're different. You've met some of these tradespeople, like you're building a house, right?
Yeah.
Some of these people are just so good.
So
They're
good.
so good.
Yeah.
And you can talk to them and they can do the job
Yeah.
and it doesn't bother them. They're just going to deliver.
Right.
But others are going to be, oh my God, that's so hard. That's so hard. That like
Yeah.
everything is a big task.
Yeah.
Well, they're tracking time.
Mm,
So they're tracking time to become a master,
okay.
right?
Yes.
So as you're getting better and better and better at doing something, if you have 5,000 hours of doing it or 2,000 hours of doing a task, you're becoming a master. That's where I
Yeah.
would like to go, right? So tracking time at the beginning is, yes, you can bill for your time, but eventually you want to have impact for your time.
Oh,
Yes, right?
okay, I love this. Let's stop here because I'm going to tell you, as I talk to customers, they believe that tracking time is an admin function. It is something that they need to do for
It is.
somebody else,
It is.
right? But what you're saying is Shelley, as you're doing up that documentation for the next project to deliver to the guys, maybe when you first started, it could have taken you 15 hours. It could have taken you 40 hours to actually do that documentation. But as you get better and as you get into the flow state, as you track that time for that documentation to get that feature done, now how good are you? Maybe
Right.
it's only 2 hours.
Right.
So, so this can be for me as well. This can be
It,
a challenge
a-
for me as
absolutely.
well. Looking at my time, making
Absolutely.
sure that I am becoming a master, that I am becoming more efficient at doing my work.
Yeah. So eventually what you want to track is not the time, it's the impact, how much
Mm,
impact you had. Right.
absolutely. Oh, I love that.
Right. So if you take this mural that Katie made, for example,
Yes,
right?
yes.
So we
Yeah.
take this, it's right behind us,
Yeah.
right? So let's take that example. So she could have spent, I don't know, 18 hours doing that.
Hmm.
So maybe her time per hour is not that valuable. But as she's learning to do this type of mural, right? As she gets bigger, better, 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 she could charge more because it has more impact.
Yes.
And her time to do it is less,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So then she's becoming a master at doing it.
Hmm.
So if you, right?
Yeah, for
Right.
sure.
So when you, it's the same for anything that you do. Like, you know, I don't want to pick on yoga because I always talk about yoga, but dancing is the same thing. When we learned dancing, my wife and I, we learned how to, we want to, like, I wanted to go to the next level. So we were learning this dance. It was called, this was just a jive, right? And a swing, actually. And so we practiced. So I put it on my phone how many, we played the same song and we practiced 423 times,
Mm.
right? And when we went to compete, not compete, but to perform,
Yeah, yeah.
people looked at it and said, "Oh my God, like where'd you learn to dance?" I said, "Well, with you. It's the same dance."
Yeah.
Well,
We
no,
just
it's
practiced.
well, the difference is like you start to dance instead of just doing the step, rock back, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
Right,
And it
right.
took us 423 times, right?
Yeah.
So why did it take us 423 times? I don't know. I can't tell you. It's just it took us that much time. So you start counting the time to figure out how much time it's going to take you to become a master. So you start enjoying yourself and you start doing things that are weird. And when you start dancing, you add little movements to the dance that you couldn't before because you've practiced 423 times, right?
Right, right.
So that's impact. So we had impact on people, right? Because we became a quasi
You
master at
just didn't
doing
go Saturday and practice. You practiced
402
423
times,
times.
right?
Yeah. Oh, I
So
absolutely love that.
time tracking. So in every discipline, like in most discipline, professional disciplines, like yoga included,
Yeah.
that you count the number of hours that you teach. If you want to attain a certain, like to, for me to attain a tier one at Baron Baptiste, I had to teach 1,000 hours of classes. Why? Like when we actually learned yoga, we had to learn this sequence, 111 11
Move.
sequence,
Yeah.
right? And first it took us like maybe an hour, and then
Yeah.
it took us 50 minutes, and Baron would have us do it until we get it in 12 and 20 minutes. Why?
Yeah.
To practice the sequence, measuring time. Let's do it in 20 minutes. Let's do it in 25. Let's do it in an hour, right?
Yeah.
Why? So that we learn it, it's ingrained in it, so we know how to master it. So then when you're teaching your class, I don't think about my poses. I
Mm.
never think. I know the sequence by
Right.
heart,
Yeah.
right? It's
Yes.
inside of me. So now I'm adding things to the sequence. I'm adding where to put your energy, your attention. I'm adding impact. I'm adding an intention, a message,
Right.
right?
Right.
So then in the hour that I'm doing my class, I'm not only doing the pose, I'm not only doing, some sort of, integration with your body and your muscles. I'm also adding, um, a theme. I'm adding a
Mm.
speech.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that it has more impact,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So somebody was asking me the other day, like, when did you start teaching? I said 6 years ago. Well, how did you become so fast, so good, so fast? By measuring time, right?
Right. Absolutely.
Right?
So many people believe that time is an admin function. I keep saying that admin function. You must put in the time for somebody else. But we don't necessarily look at it ourselves personally as something that can help us become better at what we do. Eric Sanderson, I mean, I don't know when he wrote the book, it was ridiculous, but his notion was 10,000 hours of doing
Yeah.
something, you
Yeah.
will become a master at it, right?
But the interesting thing is that's right, but it's not quite correct,
I
right?
agreed.
What I mean by that is as you start looking at time to get to be a master, you'll notice that the faster you get into flow, the faster you get to mastery.
Right.
So it's not the number, it's actually the mindset.
It's
Like it's like letting go of the attachments
yeah.
of trying to get something. And then the number from 423 gets into 200 or maybe 50.
Hmm.
So you get faster and faster at learning something and implement it in your body as a skill or a dharma, right?
Yeah.
Like so the right?
Yeah.
And like this is like 3,000 years ago, 3,000 years ago, it was written in scriptures that the way into understanding and developing your true self, who you are, was through Dharma, which is through work,
Yeah.
not through like meditation. Well, meditation is the ultimate, but it's meditation during work. It's being a meditative state when you're in work. So that is achieved when you're doing repetitive stuff. Like you've been cooking before and you think, I'm just cooking, and you lose track of time and you're just tasting stuff and you're having time of your life. Well, you're in this space because you've done it so many times, right?
Yeah.
Right.
But I think it also has to a lot to do with whether I am enjoying myself at doing it. So I remember years ago, when we started this Monday mindset, it was truly really just Eve talking to us as a group, as a Dovaco community, as employees at Dovaco, and he would set our minds right for the week. And I remember one time you talking about like you might not be able to dance.
Right.
You might, right? So there's
Maybe
people,
that's not in your skill set.
maybe it's not in your skill set. And you have to understand that you're not getting into flow. So if you're trying to
Yeah,
be
it's not your like
it was learn how, remember that dance? It was what
yeah,
was it? It was
yeah.
that dance show, and there was a
Yeah.
guy that came on 4 or 5 times
You just
to
couldn't
become,
dance.
and he just couldn't dance, and they were trying to express to him like you have no rhythm. You don't.
So we get confused.
Yeah.
This is what I mean by true self, right? So we get confused. What we get to is we see something, we go to the theater. So women, men, let's start with men.
Okay.
Go to the film and we see Captain America or Superman, and we
Right.
get out, or even better, Fast and the Furious, right?
Okay. Yeah.
We go
Yeah.
to Fast and the Furious
Yeah.
and we get out of there and
Yeah.
we're driving that car.
Right.
So all of a sudden, all our dreams, all our skills is towards building and owning this car,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Women go to the show, they see a rom-com, right? And they go and they say, "Oh my God, all they can dream about is the dog, the picket fence, the White House, and the husband, right?
Yeah.
6'3", millionaire,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. That looked
Right?
so good.
Yeah,
I want that.
right?
Yeah.
It's an illusion that we have taken and made
Mm-hmm.
it our own. It's not ourselves.
Yeah.
So that is not the purpose of measuring time. If you're measuring time and you're not getting more impact, you're not getting better and faster and pushing the limits of doing something different, time may be to question whether or not this is your dreams or somebody else's dream.
Yeah, if you practice 423 times and people are still going, "Oh man, you got two left feet, buddy." Then
Yes,
maybe
if
it's time for you to become
change your skill.
yeah,
You've made up this story in your head about something
yeah,
that doesn't
you
really
should teach the
exist.
piano or
Yeah.
something. Yeah. So
The
we don't
Japanese call that ikigai.
Ikigai, yes.
It's the intersection of three circles between what you do, what you get paid for,
Hmm.
and what you have impact on. So if you are doing something that you're not getting some sort of reward from it or being a service and or you're not having impact on, right?
Yeah.
Then you're not in the right circle of doing the right thing.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter how much time you're going to put in, you'll never get better. And we've met people a lot like that can't dance or can't perform a job, but they believe that they want to do that job. Right?
Absolutely.
The reason that you can't dance, it's because you're delusional that you think you can, right?
That's it. Yeah.
And you're attached to winning the prize instead of doing the work.
Yeah.
Because dancing requires, or whatever you want to do, requires a sacrifice of humbleness. You have to be, I'm going to do this until I get it.
Yeah.
I'm going to do this until there's, right?
Yeah.
So when I wanted to achieve my tier one with Baptiste, I was teaching 10 to 15 classes a week,
Oh yeah.
right?
It was insane.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the reason to do that, I wanted to achieve this space. So I was measuring the number of times I was doing it.
Hmm.
So that's why you track time. You track time to measure whether or not what you're doing is in the right way. So if you've done 423 dances and you're still not getting an impact, you're
Yeah.
still not getting, oh my God, you're good. Like that's an impact, right? Oh, I want to learn from you. That's a potential. Or people are coming to you, say, asking you question how you're doing what you're doing, right? You're not people asking you to do these things. It's
Could be an indicator.
well, maybe you're not like leaning into the edge.
Yeah.
You're not front class, raising your hands,
Yeah.
right? You're
Yeah.
not doing that. So time is irrelevant if you're just measuring time. You're going to
Oh,
get bored, right?
absolutely. Absolutely. You have to be so careful with it. I love the yoga analogy though, because I'm going to tell you, I thought that if I practiced frog,
Frog pose, yeah.
right? If I
Mhm.
practiced frog pose 500 times, I would get really good at frog, right? So a lot of people wanted to, they would do frog pose and they would lay their belly right out. So it is, imagine frog legs, and then you can come right down on your forearms and sometimes lay your chest right out into a big stretch. And I told myself I hated frog pose from the very beginning. Oh, frog would come up. I'd be like, oh, frog. I hate frog pose. So what I noticed in my group that I work out with, they hate frog pose. And they would be always like, oh, we're gonna do frog. I hate frog. I stopped doing that. I said, you know what? I'm gonna embrace
Yeah.
the pose. I'm gonna embrace the pose. What is the intention of the pose? Frog pose for one thing, right? Why am I doing it? And I needed it. I needed it. So I decided that I was going to enjoy frog pose and not pretend to enjoy it. I was going to enjoy frog pose. Today, I can do frog pose and I can lay out.
Okay, so it's not the number of times,
No,
right?
it had
It's
nothing to
the
do with the
it's
number
the
of times.
intention of the pose.
It was the
It's not the
intention.
pose,
Nope.
it's the
Yeah,
intention of the pose,
absolutely. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So it's the same thing for tracking time. It's not what you tracked, it's the intention of what you're doing. Yeah.
Exactly. So if you tell yourself this is an admin fee, I have to track time because Eve needs me, like that was part of my job, right? I have to track time because
Then
Eve is
you're gonna
looking at
hate it.
going to every time I go in there, I'm going to hate it.
Mhm.
But if the intention is for me to know what I'm going to be the master of, or have a feeling of what I want to have be the master of, and what I want to let go of, now it gives me a whole different sense.
It gives you like, let's say you do certain task and you say, I'm going to measure my time to see how many times I've done it.
Yeah.
This is what we don't do in the software. I would love to be able to kind of come up with the same way of being a master at yoga, a master at engineering, like a master. Like if you're an electrician, like your husband is a carpenter. He's
He
got
is.
his red seal.
He's a Red Seal
Now to
carpenter.
get
Yeah.
his red seal, he had to put so many hours into it, right?
Oh, it was stupid hours.
Right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
10,000 hours or something.
Ridiculous. Yeah.
Why? Because people know that if you practice that long, you're going to be freaking good. And
Yeah.
he's good.
And he's
He
good.
doesn't
Yeah.
think twice about it. It's
He
so,
doesn't.
right?
Yeah.
Right. But we don't do that for engineers. We don't do that for programmers.
No, we don't
We
even,
don't
we don't.
have that level, and we should.
And we
We should
absolutely
have, we
should.
should, like, if you've practiced this kind of coding or this kind of skill set or this kind of whatever it is, right? You can have different ways. I would love to have that. And that way people would say, oh, I've become a master. I get a certificate.
Absolutely.
Right.
Shelley, it
Why?
only took you 18 hours to do the documentation last month. This month, it only took you 12.
Right.
Bravo, and the impact was as beautiful as it was last month, you know what I mean? Or even greater this month. So those type of things. Now we can decide those type of things for ourselves as well. There is all kinds of reporting that is in our software. And I would love for people to start being so beautiful with their time. I don't know how else to say it, but beautiful with their time. Time is something that we'll never get back. We only have a finite amount of time while we're on this earth. I'm going to tell you right now, I haven't stood in line to go into a restaurant for years. For years.
Because you're wasting your time.
I do not have time to stand in line to
Mm,
eat the burger. I
yeah.
don't. Because there's another burger joint down the way,
Right.
right, that I can try. So in my life, because we are time management and we have been for 33 years, time is the essence of life.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah. And if we don't start being a little more deliberate with our time, and that includes the time that you spend on your perceptions, the time that you spend in your thoughts, right? You could be meditating. You could be having a Epsom salts bath. You could be lifting
Yeah,
heavy weights.
what we're doing is we're putting in time. instead of living without time. It's like a time is a construct that we've made up. And like humans have made up. It didn't exist
It
before,
didn't
right?
exist.
Dogs
No.
don't think about time, right?
Right.
It's only humans that think about time.
Yeah.
So time goes by very fast unless you're in some sort of flow. It's like you're
Hmm.
in the right space,
Hmm.
doing the right thing, having the right impact. And so the purpose of time is as a measurement is to get you into flow. That's the purpose of time,
Yeah.
right? So the faster you can get into flow, the more time you will always have because you're in the moment, right? In the moment of doing something. And yeah, like when we started this company, it wasn't about this. It wasn't about like flow. So now I'm
No.
more into innovation and creativity. Why is flow important? Because that's what happens. You become innovative when you're in flow. You break the 1 mile or the 4 minute mile when you're in flow.
Absolutely.
You do the triple jump on the ski hill when you're in flow. You do
Absolutely.
amazing things when you're in flow.
Yeah.
I was watching this like TikTok challenge about can you rap, and they have a song and then they put people in a rap. It is amazing. People are creating songs on the spot. On the spot, they're creating spot like the person is just doing a tune, doing an intro for the song, and say, "Can you sing?" And the guy says, "Yeah." Can you ad lib it? Say, "Yeah." And they're creating songs on the spot. It happened because they practice singing so many times, right? That they're having an impact right there, creating on the spot. I think that's amazing.
I do too.
And this is where the human being is going. This is where we're going because we have more freedom than ever before in certain ways, right? This AI thing is giving us more freedom to
Oh,
be in flow.
oh yeah, seriously, we have
Yeah.
more freedom than we've ever had
Mm.
before. Yeah.
So where I'm going with this whole thing is we started as a time tracking company,
Yeah.
tracking time.
Yep.
Now we're heading towards what does it mean to be an innovative company?
Yeah.
Time is a measurement to innovation, and innovation doesn't happen in 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 what we typically do right now in business. Is oh, somebody has a good idea, we'll just copy that.
Most definitely. Well, innovation doesn't happen in silos
It
either.
does not. It happens in
It
community.
happens in community. We are working on projects
Hmm.
together. And unless we get back to a place where we can communicate well together,
Yeah,
we're all going to be in trouble.
absolutely.
So, I don't want to leave you with that, but it's 10 o'clock. And I think time is something that, like I said, it is the essence of life. And I believe that if you are super deliberate about your time, making sure that you track time of the things that you want to become better at, right? And in your life, like Eve and I are kind of on the last half. We're I'd say we're halfway through. So this last half is probably the most important act of the scene
Yeah,
of the entire play.
how you finish is
How you
just
finish.
yeah, how you
Yeah,
finish is the most
most
important part.
definitely. Most definitely. So a lot of people at this age,
Yeah,
they sit and they don't believe that they need to track any time anymore because they're retired,
yeah.
right? I can sit, I can relax. That's when the regrets will start to happen. Both Eve and I have spent time in a senior's home, and the one thing that they do talk about,
Visiting.
visiting. Yeah, visiting. And there's an awful lot of regrets.
Yeah, because at the end of our lives, we look and say, now I have no more time, I'm alone. And I would say, if you're measuring time, also measure the impact. Like, what did I learn?
Yeah.
How was I of service?
Yeah.
How did I feel that did I belong? Did I go on an edge, right? And there's not a day that you and I don't journal about this. This is what journaling is about, is a reflection of your time of yesterday. So we had a whole day yesterday, maybe 12 hours of day. What did you do yesterday? And where did you spend your time? So I go through every segment of my day, 1 hour at a time, where every delivery, and I ask myself, where did I have an impact? Where was I in the moment? Where
Yep.
was I in reaction? Right? How did it seem? How was I out of my emotion? Was I in flow there? Right? Can I Was I on an edge somewhere there? Did I do something on an edge. And the reason these questions are important is we're built to expand. We're not built to decrease our life. So our body is just one part of our lives, but our body responds to our mind. So if we think we're getting old, then we're getting old. If
Yeah,
we think we're not getting old, then we're not getting old. And
that's
so
it.
if we hold on to say, well, okay, I don't have the body I had when I was 20. Yeah, you're holding on to a vision that doesn't exist. But the body you have today, right, with a different mind can get you where you couldn't get to at 20 years old, right?
Absolutely.
I remember when I lost everything. I was 52 when I
Yep.
lost everything, and I was pretty depressed there for a while. And my daughter said, "You know, Kentucky Fried Chicken, the Colonel Sanders there, like he only made it. I think it was 55 or 60. Like he only like became
There's a
famous,
lot of
right?
people, Eve, that only just
Yeah.
started, only just begun.
So we track
Yeah.
time as age, and we
Yeah.
have regret because we're not where we think we should be, because we're
Exactly.
holding on to some sort of delusional idea of what life should be,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Instead of just spending time here and saying, I spent an hour doing that. Did I go on an edge? Did I sweat a little bit?
Yeah.
Did I go, can I stay a little longer uncomfortable to discover something, right? How can I raise my hand? How can I find an edge? That's where time starts to spin off into a different quantum of world, right? So those are questions I ask myself every day, and I encourage a lot of audience to do the same. Like journal about what did you do yesterday, every delivery, every hour, and say, did I go in the edge? It doesn't really matter if what you did yesterday was play a game.
Yeah. The edge doesn't
It
mean
doesn't matter.
360 on a
No, no,
snowboard.
no,
The
no, no,
edge could
no.
be sourdough bread for you.
Like I went yesterday to a home, right? That's what I did yesterday. Went to a home, and we brought a hot dog to my father-in-law and my mother-in-law because that's what they wanted. He wanted three hot dogs, right?
Hmm.
My edge was to sit there and not look at my phone.
Yeah.
That was my edge. Why? Because looking at my phone, I would have no impact on anyone,
Yeah.
including myself. But sitting there, like, and I have to say, it was a task, right? Oh no, put the phone down. Oh no, put the phone down. No, I want to do this. I want to send a message. No, oh, put the phone down. No, put
Yeah.
the phone down.
Yeah.
Just be there. And sometimes I would say nothing, and my father-in-law would just start talking about how good this hot dog is,
Mhm.
and it was Costco hot dog. He wanted to know the price of the hot dog. $8 for like five hot dogs. He wanted three hot dogs. Imagine 96 years old, five hot dogs and five bottles of water. We went all the way there to get the hot dogs, just to get the hot dogs because he wanted that hot dog, big, long hot dog.
Listen, when you're in your 90s, you can have whatever you want.
That's what I told him. Like
Yeah,
he enjoyed the hot
absolutely.
dog. And so then I was journaling about that this morning. I said, well, what did I learn from that? Well,
Yeah.
it's like my observation of that. And my observation of that is sometimes I'm the same place where my father-in-law is. I find life is drabbing. It's not, I don't have purpose. I don't have, and I'm making this stuff up,
Yep.
right? And I'm 67. I'm not 96. I have a long ways to go before I'm 96. I'm thinking, okay, we share some of these thoughts,
Tendencies. Yeah.
tendencies, right? As
Yeah.
humans, life is not exciting enough,
Mm.
right? Oh, I should be traveling the world, or should be, buying a yacht and like a sailboat and sailing or something. I don't know,
Oh,
whatever.
you'd hate that.
I know, but we make things up,
We
right?
do. We
Instead of like
do.
finding an edge where we are.
Yeah.
And these were all escapes that I find myself escaping. Instead of saying, what impact did I have my father-in-law and what impact did he have on me? Yeah.
I love that. I
So
love that you set
yeah,
that intention too. I'm not going to get on my phone. And that was the edge.
that was the edge,
It
right?
doesn't have
Yeah.
to be things that
Yeah.
are absolutely crazy, but don't just sit.
No. Yeah.
Don't just sit. Retirement is not about sitting.
No. Find an
No,
edge.
it's finding
And
that new edge.
and it's okay. Like
We've read a book.
I had
No.
I had four.
Yeah, yeah. Stay
Anyways,
tuned.
so there was a student. I was just finished with a story.
Yeah,
Student
sorry.
asked me. It was bothering them actually that people were bringing their phones to class and texting. I said, "Don't worry, you can bring your phone to class and text. We'll just do chair pose until you're done."
I love
That's
that.
the edge.
I love that. Put them in frog.
So an edge could be a pose while you're doing something, and it like brings you back to this moment right now.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Absolutely. Frog was my edge, and I did it every chance that I possibly could and told myself how much I enjoyed it. Listen, thank you so much for Lori's here. And
Etienne,
and yes, see,
Cheryl,
Trent knows captain of the USS. And we were talking about Luke Picard when we first started. So yeah. And look, the NCC, whatever that means, Trent.
Mike Blizzard, Felicia, good
Hey,
morning.
Felicia.
Lori, Cheryl,
Jan.
Ian, good morning.
Fantastic. Good morning.
Have a
All
cup of
right.
tea.
This is it.
We're spilling the tea today.
We are spilling the tea today. So we are a timesheet company. Time is the essence of life. Make sure that you make the most of yours. I'm Shelley Butler,
I'm Yves Doucet.
and this has been Mindset Monday. I love you. Get your workout in. And how are you showing up?